All right, moving on to episode 4, titled Encounter. And this deals with a guy. This is 1985.
Yes.
And we are dealing with a couple here. And this guy really wants to get him and his wife out of this bad situation that they're in. They are very impoverished, much like everyone in these episodes. These really deal with money so heavily.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he wants to move them, and I don't know if she's looked into this, but I wouldn't be excited to go either. He wants to go to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, just the place you want to go if you're a woman. Yikes. But his mom is there, who he hasn't seen since he was a kid. But for some reason, he's decided he's going to track her down. He still holds on to the one and only picture I think he has of her.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably around the last time he saw her. He's a little kid in it. And he saved up some money, which was like 7 million rupees.
He had 6 million.
Was it 6?
Yeah.
There were so many different
It was 6
millions
million.
in this one.
It was 6 million.
That was 6 million. So yeah, as far as my thoughts on this one, it was okay. I think what was my issue with this one and the next one, because we did watch the next one, is that I found our main protagonist male character here to just be so meek and uninteresting. Like, he was fine. Like, I get it. There's people like this. But he barely says anything. He's just so sad.
Yes.
He's just such a sad character.
Yeah.
And
really
you kind of just watch him get beat up and pushed around, and everyone's looking towards him because his wife buys him this like Polaroid camera, which I thought was going to play into this more. She was like, there's 10 pictures, make sure they're important when you take them. And he wastes like the first 2 on them. But he uses the first 2 on them, and they make such a big deal about like the number of pictures.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure when that happened, we were going to get the classic Twilight Zone, camera where, and this has been done in Are You Afraid of the Dark and so many other anthology things where a picture can tell your future or your death, like in The Omen or something like that. And no, he takes a picture of an angel, which, I don't know. What did you think?
I'm pretty much the same as you. I found the main character to be not as compelling for me as some of the other characters in the previous episodes. And I do think it is largely because he's very meek and doesn't really react to anything. Yeah, I felt really bad for him, for sure. Like, the whole time, literally the thing he cares about the most in the whole world is just seeing his mom again. And, in some ways I think that's made him kind of blind to, like, the plight that their village is facing, which is that they're trying to, this other, the government is basically trying to kick them out of that area, even though they've all lived there since, like, their grandparents. So they've been there multiple generations. And I think that's a really big deal and something that he should care about more, but I don't think he does because he doesn't really see it as home. I also kind of found the relationship drama, if you could call it that, felt very anticlimactic. Like, he sort of, jokingly, I guess, accuses her of being with somebody in the beginning, and she's like, no, I would have left already. And he says that there's a rumor that she's with somebody in the village, and she's like, no way. But she is with that person. Yeah, that is the same guy, and they do run away because she hears one of the other wives talking about how her husband said 6 million would be enough for them to move and start a new life and have like a small shop and everything. So she steals his money and
Well,
leaves with the new guy.
The reason she leaves, supposedly, is because the girl says that she told the wife, this girl that comes into his place with a couple other people, she says, oh, she probably left because I said you were going to get the power to be able to read minds. And she knew you were going to be able to catch
she
her.
also says that, too. Yeah, that's in the same conversation. So it's both.
She panics.
Yeah.
And, expedites.
And is like, all right, he's going to find out anyway.
Right.
But I just felt like his reaction to that.
Money.
Yeah.
Oof.
Which is awful. But I don't know. I just felt like his reaction was so, like... Just, I mean, it's sad, but it's not, like, what I would have expected. But that's his character, though. He's just very, like... doesn't have a lot of emotion that he shows, and
I think he kind of sees himself as a bit of a martyr.
I do too.
I think he kind of feels like, I don't know if it's he deserves it. As someone who's lived with anxiety for a very long time and sees it as kind of like a curse, really, honestly, there are moments where you're in this kind of like despair, where you're just kind of like, I deserve this, or like, it's not I deserve it. It's like, this is my burden to bear. And I feel like that's the way he is. And it's speaking of that moment when he realizes his wife leaves him. I think another problem with the scene is that we're presented with this like betrayal of not only his wife, but like the money that he's been saving up. I mean, $6 million. I don't know. It's 1985, so that's, inflation.
Right.
In reverse inflation, because we know what it is in 2022 or whatever that episode was, when it was like they had dinner was like 300,000.
Yeah.
Right, and we were like extrapolating that kind of thing. I don't know what it would have been in 85. It would probably been even more.
Yeah.
But for a little village like that goes around and picks shit up off the shore, I can only imagine that took him his whole life to save.
It's definitely taken him a long time, for sure.
But then, not only does he not really have much of a reaction to it, which is his character, he has like a little bit of like, he's just kind of a mopey guy.
Yeah.
He's just kind of how it happens, and he's just like, oh, well, I guess that's just my luck.
Yeah.
Like, darn it. But then it's like almost instantly rectified with the guy coming through the door like within a few minutes and being like, I can offer you $8 million for this picture you just took. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, that's already rectified.
Well, and he's very just like, he doesn't want it. I guess my problem with it is that I thought
understand. She had stole the picture.
Right.
That's what I was like, oh shit, he's got to hunt her down and find the picture and be like, I don't even want you. You can keep the money. I just want the picture. I thought that was going to be the drama. No, he's just still at it. What I
don't understand is his relationship and reaction to this angel that he saw. I feel like we don't really like get a clear, like, he thinks it's not an angel, he thinks it's evil. Like, that would explain why he's like, I don't really want any like attention from this, I don't want money from it. Or, if vice versa, like if he does think it's actually an angel, and like, I just feel like we don't get anything. Instead, we get all of the villagers reacting to it and how they think about it. And they're very much like, it's an angel and he's going to save us. And like, look, this gun didn't shoot him and all this stuff, right? And so I just think there's just not enough like clear intention and like reaction from him. So, like, I don't understand his character, and that's what everything hinges on.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure he's like a messiah.
Yeah, and I mean, what I did like about the episode, though, I do like the visual in the ending. Like, I do like when he gets like floated out of his house in space, or whatever, this void that he's in, and this angel that looks like his mother, and I like that entity is like, I'm just taking on a form that will be like comfortable for you. So it's not his mom, but it's like, this is what you're going to be most receptive to. So I liked all that. I liked the visual of him floating back in. And then as far as like the very end with him floating up and everybody like bowing down to him, I thought that felt very ominous. But it's weird because again, I'm like, but I didn't even get the sense that he was like some power hungry dude. now he has a bunch of like information in his head, so maybe he'll be different because of that. I mean, we can only assume. But before then, it was like, okay, this guy, what's he gonna do? Like, he's so blah.
Yeah. Shout out to the movie Contact with Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey. Very reminiscent of that. This, like, you know, what entity presenting itself as something you're comfortable with, being your mother. In that movie, it's the father. So very, very similar in that regard. I don't know if that was an homage or inspiration for this, but it definitely was, I mean, almost identical in that way. Also, let's not forget to mention that, once again, another connection here. In that scene when she appears, I think it's right before that, he also sees the vision of this hellscape world that was seen in the previous episode, the writing one. So whatever that place is connected in here. So there seems to be a connection outside of just it being, you know, a part of the same show, and in Jakarta and all that stuff. There's definitely I can only assume this is building to a climax where everything comes together. It just makes sense. You would also mention
the light.
The light was very similar.
Yeah, very similar to the Careful What You Wish For Orphan episode. The blue white light at the end. So
that he uses to resurrect the mom, or we think to resurrect the mom.
Yeah, so I mean, I like that there's tie-ins for sure.
And kind of the light in the next episode too. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah. You know, of course, I mean, but it makes sense that there's tie-ins. But yeah, this was kind of just an okay episode. I don't think it's terrible or anything. I just definitely didn't like it as much as the others.
Yeah, and let's not also forget the bully guy who's you know, running around the town and pushing his weight around, and you know, that also kind of just doesn't really go anywhere. It's the drama. Like, I think here's the thing, I think all of everything going on around the guy is super like entertaining and interesting, and it's like, you've got the typical bully guy who's in his face and he's like calling him a liar and being like, no, he went to another town and took a picture, and you know, then he goes in his house and he's like, I paid a lot of money to this guy to lie to these people. You know, give me this picture. And like, the picture ends up really kind of being nothing. Like, he goes to hide it. But I don't know, like, okay. So, as I said, I think that it should have been the chick stole it and he was tracking her down, but he doesn't have that character that would try to track it down. Right? But regardless, I don't know if he meant to destroy that picture, because he put it in a stove. Right, it's his little cooktop, and he puts it in there and hides it under a pan. But he looks like he's trying to hide it. Yeah. Because he goes to put it under this, and he chose to put it under that, and then he's just like, I don't know where to put it. And he puts it in like the most obvious place imaginable, which when the guy tears his place up, it's like, how did you not find that? Like, you tore up literally everything, but you didn't look there. Right. So, like, I don't understand that. But regardless, like, did he mean to destroy the picture? Because when it's destroyed, once again, he has, like, no reaction. And that's, like, all the money he's going to have. Like, once again, he lost the 6. Then he's now going to lose the 7.2 because the guy wants the 10% cut. And, you know, it's like the picture's destroyed. And I'm like, did you mean to do that? I wouldn't think you would. And as you were kind of getting at, like, I think it would have worked better had he taken the picture. He was out, like, taking pictures, and he just snapped the photo, like, right as an angel appeared, and he, like, you know, had it, and then he took it home, and his wife, like, grabbed it from him, like, what's this? Oh my God, like, what did you have? And then she went and showed the village. Right? Because him showing it's like, just doesn't fit his character. This guy doesn't even want to be acknowledged. The thing I will say about him, though, and we kind of see it, I wish we would have saw it a little more. He steps in when the time comes for him to step in, right? The guy says, like, you know, when he admits it's a fake, even though it's not. The guy's like, you're the one who carried my kid when he was sick. And you're the one who saved the person from drowning, pulled him out of the water or whatever. You're the one who, you know, an actual like savior. Like even though and you don't want the attention,
Yeah.
you don't want the praise. You know what makes you think that we don't think you're special? And it's like, I don't think you understand. Like he doesn't want
Yeah.
to be special. Although he did say he lied to feel special, sort of. I guess that would be their, what they would expect for him to be lying.
Right.
But it's all just guesswork with him, with us. We're just kind of like and I get that that's the point. That it's like in Game of Thrones and in especially I guess it's in most of them. I guess it's in Lord of the Rings. It's in Harry Potter. It's always the reluctant hero.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's
sure.
the like I don't want this.
Yeah.
And it's like then that's
Because
why it has to be you.
Right, yeah. They're less likely to abuse the power.
Right.
Because of their humility.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the people who don't want the power that are best with it.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess that's all I got from this, right? Is that they're picking him to be whatever this is. I don't know though, because this is all supposed to be connected. And this happened in 1985. I guess this is just one of those events that people would be like, I don't believe you.
I mean,
this would be like
I could also
a tale.
see the last episode being somebody investigating all these events and tying them together in that way.
I mean, it could be that he's not obviously dealing with something angelic, that we're not dealing with something good.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
the only other good, like, entity that we got is the orphan, and you even kind of have like
it's like
reservations
maybe
about that. So, and I feel the same could probably be said about this one, because
everyone dies around that kid. It's not really a good thing.
Yeah, it's just that his, the way he acts, it seems like he's good, but
seems like.
yeah. But and then this one, we don't. I mean, the entity angel is just kind of like, here's all this knowledge, like it's up to you, like you got to use it. So they could. It probably is all evil.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I mean, nightmares and daydreams, like, you think, like, the nightmares is the bad, and the daydreams are, like, a little bit lighter, like, good.
I think the daydreams are supposed to be, because throughout this show, we see aspirations.
Yeah.
We always see hope.
Yeah.
And then the opposite, right? We got the yin and the yang. We've got the people going through life and everything's terrible, and they have high hopes, and those hopes are always something they're trying to achieve, but so that's their daydream, is like, I want to be a successful writer. I want to have money and get out of my poverty. I want to, and I'm not going to ruin the next episode, but it's always like they're daydreaming about their future.
Yeah.
So I think the title actually works for every episode, because you are always dealing. This guy wants to meet his mom and move his wife away to Saudi Arabia to be with her, and it's going to be this idealistic thing for him, and of course it ends up being a nightmare.
Yeah.
But then it kind of turns into something else, which I think like this is so if we go chronologically. With the timeline, this is the oldest episode, and this is when the light appears, right? And then you go up, and you've got all of these different instances of supernatural occurrences, and I think they're born out of this.
Yeah.
I think this is this is like the singular event that everything starts from. This is the branching off point. This is the genesis of the beings.
Yeah.
Whether they're aliens or whether they're demons or whatever. I think I'll be surprised if an episode goes earlier than this. I think this is going to be the jumping off point. If we were to branch them all out, like this is the first. But this might not be the first time they appear. So I don't know. But I do think, I don't know if we're going to get a definitive answer in an episode where it's going to be like, here's all the, loose strings tied together. I don't think we're going to get that. I think we're going to just get little hints here and there, and then it's just going to be up to us. And by the 7th episode, which we'll probably finish today, so we can try to tie it all together. And that's where we'll do that. So let's keep it here, and then we'll go from there. But I think that this is probably going to be the earliest timeline, and that it's all going to branch off of this, and this is connected because we see the hell world, or whatever the hell that thing is. We see it for 2 seconds each time. So I'd like to pause that thing and look around, but there's not really much to look at.
Yeah.
But I think that's where they come from.
Yeah, I do too.
And they're here, and I think that they have those beings that like suck the youth out of people.
Yeah.
Are like their overlords or something.
Yeah.
But that one's 2020. Wait, that one's 2022.
I think so.
Right? And then the next one's 2024. The next one's 2015. This one is 1985, and the next one's 1997. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll tie them all together. And last thing, we should probably do it in the beginning of the next one. Maybe we will again. But I do want to mention it here really quick because we keep forgetting to do it. The opening of the show is very cool.
It's super cool. I really like it.
I like the music. I like the visuals.
Me too.
A lot of really cool imagery.
Yeah, I think it's really neat.
And I really wish we would have mentioned it in the first episode, but we just kept forgetting. But I'm going to remember it now. Anyway, I got to get to this show. So, a different show, the horror show that I'm gonna be co-hosting here. So anyway, all right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.